everybody and welcome to Chef's Baking Blog. Today I'm going to make some chocolate cookies, and these are described in an article by Felicity Choke in The Guardian as the perfect chocolate biscuit. And in England a biscuit is basically a hard cookie type thing. They're crunchy. So I'll put a link to the article below the video so you can see that she actually tries several different recipes and comes up with what she calls the perfect one. Now I've already made some of these and they look like this, and they are very crunchy. But you can adjust the amount of crunchiness by the length of baking time. So these were baked for 25 minutes, but if you bake them for 20 minutes they will be slightly less crunchy, and if you bake them only for 15 minutes they'll actually be quite soft, I think. So it's actually a very simple recipe, and I have to say they do taste excellent. So Felicity Choke may be correct when she says they're perfect. And for the recipe I have 150 grams of softened butter, and that works out at 1 stick plus 2.5 tablespoons, thereabouts. I have 215 grams, which is 2 cups minus a tablespoon of plain flour. Then I have 100 grams of dark chocolate, which I have chopped up. Some of it's crumbed and some of it's in little chunks, and that works out at about half a cup. I have 130 grams, which is 2/3 of a cup of caster sugar. I have half a teaspoon of salt, and I have 70 grams of golden syrup. You could use corn syrup, and that works out at 1/4 of a cup, less about 2 teaspoons. It's, as you can see, it's just below 1/4 of a cup there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mix all these ingredients together. Then I'm going to form them into a log and chill the dough. So the first thing is to simply add the sugar and the golden syrup into the softened butter, and then I'm going to mix that for 2 or 3 minutes until it's quite nice and fluffy. I'll just scrape out the excess golden syrup. That's fine. So I'll mix that for 2 or 3 minutes until it's nice and fluffy. So that's well mixed in. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sift in the cocoa. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention on my ingredients that I also have 45 grams of cocoa powder, which is about half a cup minus 1 teaspoon. And I'm going to put that into the flour. And I'm just going to give that a bit of a mix around, and then I'm going to sift that with the salt as well into the butter mixture. And the reason I'm sifting it is mainly because cocoa powder tends to form lumps. So I'll add the salt in as well. And I'll just sift that into the butter. That's in. And then the next thing to do is simply to mix that on a low speed until it all comes together in clumps. And add the chocolate in as well. So that's clumped together nicely, and I'm just going to remove that batter from the whisk attachments. And then I need to turn that out onto some plastic wrap, because I want to form this into a log. Now you could actually chill this and just roll it out and then cut out the cookies, but I'm going to form it into a log and then I'm going to cut slices. So I'll just tip that out. And I'm just mixing those little floury bits. And then I'll wrap that up . And what I want to do is I want to make it into a sausage which is just a little bit larger than this, so about 5 centimetres, which is 2 inches in diameter. And I work out that that's roughly about 12 inches in length as well. Now it will be flat underneath because it's soft at the moment, but I'm going to put that in the fridge and I'm going to chill it. And you need to do that for at least 30 minutes, but you can do it for sort of hours, days if you want to. This will last quite a while in the fridge. And once it's firmed up, I'm going to preheat my oven to 180 Celsius. That's 160 Celsius with a fan, 350 Fahrenheit. And I have a couple of baking trays lined with parchment paper. So then I'll come back and we'll cut this into about 22 to 24 slices and we'll bake them, and that's all there is to it. So I'll be back with you once this is chilled and it's firmed up nicely. Okay, so I've allowed our chocolate biscuit dough to chill in the fridge and it's quite firm now, and I've actually just cut mine in half. So I have half of the sausage for each baking tray, and then what I want to do is to cut it into fairly thick slices. So I'm going to get about 11 out of this, which is roughly half an inch wide for each slice, I would think. So then just cut down quickly, firmly. And then just place them onto the baking tray. And as I can see, they're not completely round, so I'm going to run them a little bit in my hand like that, just to make them a little bit rounder. And then with our 22 I've got cut out now, with the 22 biscuits cut out like that, I'm going to put them into my preheated oven. That oven is at 180 Celsius, 160 Celsius with a fan, 350 Fahrenheit. And I'm going to bake them for 25 minutes. Now, if you want, that is going to give me a nice crunchy biscuit after they've cooled down. If you want them slightly less crunchy, then 20 minutes. And if you want them sort of soft or much softer, then 15 minutes would be good enough. But for mine, I want them crunchy and sort that I can dunk into tea or coffee if I want to. So I'll take mine out of the oven and let them cool down for 5 minutes on the baking tray, then transfer them to a wire rack to cool down completely, and then I'll come back and show you the results. The biscuits have cooked and I baked mine for 25 minutes. I took them out, let them cool for about 5 minutes on the trays, and then put them onto a wire rack to cool down completely. So this is what they look like. I have some of slightly larger and smaller, so I'll just taste one. They are very, very nice indeed. They have that lovely crunchy texture to them. They'd be ideal for dunking in tea or coffee. But there's no, although I'm using dark chocolate, there's no bitterness that I can detect in the flavour at all. The cocoa powder and the chocolate work together to make a really nice biscuit. As I say, you could bake them for a shorter time if you didn't want them quite so crunchy, and that would be ideal. So these are very easy to make, and I'll put a link to them below the video. So that's going to be it for today. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, please give me the thumbs up below the video and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the top right hand corner of the screen there will be an eye that you can click on, which will also take you to the recipe. And I will be back with another recipe in the very near future. So until then, happy baking.